Okay, guys, I thought I would do a little pep talk today to get you back into your I amness. So we have to remember who we are. Who are you? You get to decide who you are. You get to decide what's in your world. You get to decide what you do, what you think, how you feel. You get to decide everything. You're in control all the time. And I think the only time that we forget that is when we become exhausted and we feel stuck because we're trying way too dang hard. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video for a few minutes. And this is video 85. Woohoo! And my name is Samantha. I'm a therapist, and I am doing a video every day for a year to get over my fears of speaking publicly and people in general, social anxiety and all that stuff. So kind of conquered that already. And I did get a comment from someone that wants to start doing videos but was feeling a little scared. So this is for you. Start your videos today. I promise you, I was terrified of it. And it's so fun. I just love it. And I love just helping people any way I can. So you can too, and you should, because I know that you probably have tons of ways to help people out there that really need your message and they need your gift. So everybody needs a gift that we have to give. So somebody is going to hear this video and somebody's going to hear your video that they, needed to hear, and it'll bless them. So bless someone with all your gifts today. And if that's all you get out of this video, any of you, just take it. So share your gifts today because you were given them for a reason. So share them. So I think when we're feeling stuck or like, oh, my manifestation isn't coming to me, a lot of that is like we're forcing it to happen. We're forcing. And remember, you can't force things to happen. You have to allow them to happen. You have to let them happen. And so I wanted to read, for one thing, I got an Abraham Hicks. I get their emails every day, and I thought this was a really good one. I've taken this and put it in my notes in my archives for, I don't know how many times over the years, and I forgot about it. But so today's was the most valuable skill or talent that you could ever develop is that of directing your thoughts toward what you want, to be adept at quickly evaluating all situations and then quickly coming to the conclusion of what you most want, and then giving your undivided attention to that. There is a tremendous skill in deliberately directing your own thoughts that will yield results that cannot be compared with results that mere action can provide. So basically, this is saying your most valuable skill is directing your thoughts towards what you want, and very quickly noticing, oh, this isn't what I want. I want something else. I prefer this instead. And then directing your thoughts towards that. And then the other part of this is not introducing doubt into it. And that's where we lose our power the most. This is where those old childhood beliefs come in. This is where all that old programming comes in. This is where that old story comes in. It's like, what version of you are you being? Are you being version 1 or version 2.0? Which one are you being? Who are you being? That is what you have to ask yourself. Because when you're noticing that this isn't working, that's you believing internally, this isn't working. That you're identifying with you, number 1. So you, number 2, has to say, no, this is working. This has always been working. That's something that I developed, was saying, no matter what this looks like, it's always working for me. Because that's what I said. Whatever I say goes. And I just started saying that. No matter what it looks like, I heard a lot of people say this, a lot of coaches out there, they said, no matter what it looks like right now, that does not mean that what you're wanting is not coming to you. It doesn't mean anything. And as I did this work throughout the years, I noticed that even when I got things I wanted or events happened that I wanted, I still wouldn't feel very happy about it. Because as Esther Hicks says, and Abraham Hicks says, you take yourself with you wherever you go. Wherever you go, there you are. You're going to meet yourself wherever you are. So you have to learn to be happy without anything happening externally. And you do that by going within. You go within and you give it to yourself first. So that's where Neville Goddard comes in, where he says, feeling is the secret to all of this. You have to just feel it. And you don't have to pretend all day. You don't have to do anything really. Like my video yesterday said, all techniques work. Anything that you say works, works. It's all about what you believe. It truly, truly is. That's a placebo effect too. How they do, sugar pills versus the actual pill. And they have the same results from both. When I was in my doctoral program and I created the study I created, it was like the EMDR therapy I did and the meditation I did with people, it gave the same results. Meditation was just as good as therapy. And so it depends on what you believe. That's what's going to give you the results that you're looking for. And that's all that it is. There's nobody doing anything to you. Your life is happening through you, not to you. So when you really solidify that in your mind and say, this is happening through me, if this is happening through me, then what am I believing about myself? What must I believe is true about me if this particular thing is happening right now? What must I believe is true? And then if I believe that this is true, well, I don't like that. So what do I prefer to believe? And it's really about just connecting with yourself. There's no one to change but self, as Neville says. I can't find anything that's more true than that. You have to change yourself. And then your external world will change. I have changed all kinds of situations around out of nowhere so many times. There are so many times that things look like chaos and the exact opposite of what I'm wanting. I mean, so many times. I can look back at like hundreds of things that looked so, quote, bad at the moment. But if you just keep your vision going, which I had trouble doing this for years, I promise you, and I still struggle at times. It's just, you have to look at your triggers as training. They're training you. And so when you get a trigger, you say, well, what's the gem in this? What's the piece of gold that I can take out of this to take with me into my next, my next lesson? Because you're going to get these lessons all the time. And you're creating them. So you can create skills and learn and evolve and become enlightened and all those great things. But you got to lighten up to be, enlightened, like Bashar says. You got to lighten up. And so when you're feeling stuck, you just remember that you're doing all this, which is the greatest news ever. That finally solidified in my mind years ago, too. I was like, I am doing this. And I think a lot of times we look externally at things and we say, well, this situation, I don't like this situation, or this person's doing this to me and I don't like this. I think we do that a lot to avoid looking internally at ourselves. I really, really do. Because it's hard sometimes to really go within and be like, man, I'm really thinking some nasty thoughts about myself and nasty thoughts about this other person. And that never feels good, but we're addicted to thinking that way. So you have to remember that too, that you're addicted to thinking the way you're thinking. So it's going to take a shift in identity, identifying with something new instead of identifying with something that you're identifying with currently, which is saying, I'm stuck or this isn't working. I'm what's it called? I can't think of the word. I'm desperate. I'm desperate for this to work. Then we have to question, like, well, why do I want this thing so badly? That's the other thing that I started thinking about. Like, why do I want this so badly? What would this do for me if I actually had it? Why do I want this so badly? And why do I have to have it right now? That's when we have to really think, like, why am I so desperate to have this thing or this person or this event to happen? Why? And then you can really tell that there's something in you. It might be, like I said, triggers are training. Triggers come from childhood. They come from the past, which the past is 5 seconds ago. So you can, say that the past literally happened 5 seconds ago. So something that happened could have triggered you just now. But it's all kind of connected back to, it could be even before you even remember, when you were 2 years old even. There's just some things that our brains do. They wire a certain way when things happen. And so really check with what your limiting beliefs are about yourself, like your core negative beliefs about yourself that are limiting you. And those are the things to really question and flip around. And I have had a lot of success with affirmations. I really have throughout this time. I just say whatever if I want somebody to say something to me, I give it to myself first in my mind. And then when I go to sleep at night, I pretend like I'm that person that has whatever it is that I want. And I've done that. I've literally done that since I was little, and I didn't even know I was doing it. I had no idea I was doing it. And I promise you, a lot of that stuff I used to imagine came true. And I didn't even know I was doing it. But I think as kids, we just pretend things, we don't know what we're doing, but we forget to pretend as adults, rehearse what you want instead of rehearsing, I'm stuck or this isn't working, because you're rehearsing that in your head. You're saying constantly like, I'm stuck. I'm not getting this. I must be doing something wrong. Don't think of it that way, because you're just perpetuating it. That's what's happening. You're only perpetuating it. And so you want to start, like Esther said in this email, guide your thoughts where they need to go. What would I prefer happen? And you literally sometimes have to turn your body to, like, you gotta interrupt the brain. You gotta disrupt it, because if you don't disrupt it, it goes right where it's always gone. So there's no stopping it. It's just going to happen that way. So you have to almost turn a dial, pretend like you're, turning the radio dial. You cannot hear what's on 104.5 if you're on 92.1. You just can't. So you've got to turn that dial, and you got to say, oh, this is my 92.1 self over here, and I've got to turn the dial to my 104.5 self. So how can I hear what's over here when I'm over here? And so you have to just interrupt yourself, disrupt yourself. Say, oh yeah, Sam said I need to do this. You sometimes have to literally talk to yourself like that. Like, I'm doing this now. I'm thinking this way now. This is who I am now. Because you really have to think, who are you being right now? Are you being 1.0 you or 2.0 you? Are you in life number 1 or life number 2? And what do you really, really want? And why do you need to have it happen right now? That's another thing to remember. This helped me too. There's only the present moment. There's only right now. So if you can just calm yourself, and I recommend grounding yourself with breathing. There are so many breathing exercises out there. I'm going to start probably teaching some breath work classes as soon as I get a membership going eventually, I say eventually, before the end of the year, I'm planning on getting some sort of membership going. And teaching breath work, teaching some yoga possibly, just doing a bunch of things where we can tie manifestation in with grounding ourselves in our bodies and learning how the nervous system works. Because a lot of times when we feel stuck, exhausted, all those things, it's because our nervous system is it's an electrical system. It's the most sophisticated electrical system in the universe, it seems like. And so it's constantly firing. And so when you're feeling nervous or agitated, that's a sign that you're kind of you're just out of whack. You're out of homeostasis, out of balance. So your body craves homeostasis, which is balance. So we've got to bring it back to balance by giving the brain enough oxygen, for one thing. Because when we're, most people are breathing very shallowly. I find myself breathing shallowly and holding my breath at times. So I have to be very cognizant of properly breathing. And then also we need to breathe through our diaphragm instead of our chest or our stomach. We got to get that diaphragm going up and out so it's fully engaged. So you take those big, deep breaths. If you have to, lay on your back and put a book on your stomach, and you'll be able to tell if you're breathing from your stomach or your chest, whichever goes up first. And so just check that, because the deeper you're breathing in, the more oxygen you're getting to your brain, and you're going to be able to think more logically. If you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain, you're going to probably think more emotionally. You're going to be really anxious at times. So really just check in with yourself. The goal here is not to manifest. Remember, first of all, everything is already manifested. We just can't see it. It's manifested as soon as you have the desire, it's there. So now our job is to allow it in. So the goal is not to just allow it to appear in our reality. The goal is to feel good even before we have it. That became my biggest goal, was just be happy anyway. I had an idea to write a book called How to Be Happy Anyway. I'll probably write it. And I find that to be just the best thing in the world, to just feel good inside all the time. It's the best feeling. I love it. That when I started creating that identity, I guess we could call it, inside myself, and I started feeling safe inside myself, I never felt better. It was anytime I felt a little bit down, I would just go within myself and give it to myself. And you give it to yourself by talking really nicely to yourself, reminding yourself that you're creating this. You get to do whatever you want. You can have whatever you want, be whatever you want, do whatever you want. So what is it that you want? And why? Why do you want that thing? Would it make you feel happy? Would it make you feel joyful? Would it make you feel excited? And I recommend starting to get excited before you even have anything. Create little pockets of excitement. Get excited about your cup of coffee in the morning and get excited about doing your laundry, whatever you need to do. The little mundane things that we call mundane, that's our life. That's your life. So enjoy every moment of it, it's just a practice. You're in a mental gym right now. And so everything is always working. That's the other thing. I started getting into some other coaches that are very blunt. They're like, no, it's always been working. I've always been this way. This is how it's always been. This is how they've always been. I didn't have any problems. This is how it's always been. So if you start talking like that to yourself too, your brain will hear that. A lot of people say affirmations don't work. They really do work. If you just practice them over and over and over, your brain will start to hear it because you're affirming all day long anyway. You just don't know you are. Affirmations are pretty much just thoughts and things you're imagining. So you're doing it anyway all day. You're affirming like, I still don't have this. I'm noticing that this isn't working. I'm noticing I'm stuck. That's an affirmation. So if you affirm for the opposite of that and start assuming that I've never been stuck. I don't even know what stuck means. What does that word even mean? Just start doing things like that, play around with it and see how you feel. And then if something feels off and you really truly don't believe it, you got to look at your belief system because your beliefs are going to show you where there might be like a little, I don't want to call it a block, but it's kind of like just a challenge. It's there to show you like, do you prefer this belief or this belief? And so you've got to figure out what you're actually believing because your beliefs are running everything about yourself. So check in with those beliefs and thoughts, feelings, check in with your body, do some breath work, do all kinds of breathing. You can check out videos on YouTube. They've got plenty of breath work, courses and classes and videos, but someday I'll come up with my own and hopefully that'll help you. But make sure you're breathing. That's number one. And make sure you're hydrated as well. Because those two things can really affect the way you physiologically feel. And so I like to work with mind and body both together. And I think that's really important to figure out what your needs are, not only emotionally, but spiritually and physically as well, while you're doing this whole process. This is like you're creating a very a foundation for yourself that you can start planting seeds in, and then you water them every day, and then they bloom. And the blooms are what you're wanting. And so I feel like creating the self-concept that you want and creating that firm foundation for you is going to get you everything because you're building a building. You're laying down a brick every single day or planting a seed every single day in your garden. And then you get to reap the rewards after. And then sometimes you're feeling so good, you don't even care if you get your manifestation at that point. You're like, I just feel so good. This is awesome. So you just kind of live there. So that's what Neville, I think, meant by, live in the end. It's kind of like just live as if you already have this. Like, how would you feel if you had it is the big thing. It's like, it's just to get you into the state of having. That's it. And the state of having is the feeling that you're generating from this end scene or, just imagining what you want. Basically, you're generating a mental state, and that's what actually allows the manifestations to come in, is the mental state. So remember that you can generate the mental state at any second that you want to, and you have to tell yourself, I've got to disrupt this addiction to thinking that things aren't working. Remember to have faith in the invisible. You can't see it yet. And that was what I had fun with too. I was like, okay, I know it's here. I just can't see it. So I'm going to trust that it's here. I'm going to have that faith that it's here. And then I'm just going to have fun in the meantime until it shows up. And then when things trigger me, it's like, okay, this is my training now. This isn't about the thing that's triggering me. This is about what am I going to do with this? How am I going to respond to this instead of react? And that can be difficult at times. I know. I've been there in a million situations. But the more you work at it internally and you don't worry so much externally about anything, that's where your true power lies. We have no power in the external. We can't change anything. You change everything externally from changing everything internally, and then you see the results of that. So again, when I learned that and solidified that in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm just going to have fun with this and see what I can do. So then maybe tell yourself that, like, I'm going to have fun with this. Let me see what I can actually do. Let me see how powerful I really, really am. And then just play games with yourself. Just see what you can do every day. Like, what am I doing? Be very curious about what's showing up. What is this trying to teach me about me? Because all you're doing is learning more about you. It's not about getting things. Those things will come naturally. But it's about learning about you. Where are your leaks? Where are you leaking in your leaky boat? Everything. Like, where are your limiting beliefs? Why are you being so mean to yourself? Those types of things. Why are you believing everything that everybody tells you about yourself? That's another thing. That's a big one. Don't believe everything. Don't believe anything that you hear about yourself or anything. Only believe what you believe. Create your own evidence. Be your own evidence. Create your own data. You're your own evidence. You do not need to look outside of you for anything. I don't care what everybody else is doing. It does not matter. It only matters what you're thinking and what you're doing inside. And whatever is inside will show up outside. So just have fun with it. And feel free every day, just keep listening to me. And I'm going to say the same thing over and over in different ways. And it'll solidify one day, I promise you. It did for me after I listened to, hundreds of videos throughout the years. It finally started to, I finally started to get it after I just let go of the addiction to the way I was thinking and telling myself, this is an addiction. I'm hurting myself by thinking this way, so I need to think this other way so that I can actually get what I want. And I was like, well, I haven't done so bad so far without really trying that hard. I'm gonna try a little harder at being nicer to myself. And that's what really started working when I started writing down affirmations on note cards. That really changed my life. It just did. I would read them every single morning and every night, and it just feels good to talk to yourself really nicely. So I would, seriously, if you haven't done anything else lately that's different, I would try, the first thing I would do is write down some affirmations on some note cards. Like, I am amazing, I am awesome, I am powerful. There's so many, like, I'm the operant power, whatever. And my mind is, what is that quote? It's, my mind is the center of divine operation. I love that one. Create knowings with no evidence. I have that on my wall. My mind creates millions. Just all these things that make you feel good. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, create me a list of affirmations that are really powerful. Write them all down on note cards. Read them in the morning and at night. Maybe even at lunchtime too. Maybe write them down. That makes them even more powerful. Just write them down, read them. And you'll find that it changes your state, at least for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is better than nothing. So just keep, and it'll start to train you to feel that. And then that way during your day, if you have a down moment, you can go back. It's kind of crazy, but those affirmations will start coming up in your mind because they're fresh on your mind. So it'll almost kind of replace what you were just thinking, and it'll help you. So try that out and see if that helps you as well. So, yep, you're never stuck. You're never broken. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to fix. You've always had it. You've always been it. There's never been any issues. You're doing it every second. You're magnetizing everything to you every second. No need to worry about anything external. No, never. No need to worry. Everything is all good. You got this. And I'm with you every step of the way. So I'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'm sweating again. I will see you tomorrow for video 86. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.